Hey guys, my name is Marvin.
I'm Megan.
And today we're talking about things you would want to consider before funding a daycare. One of the problems we came across was we waited a little too long to start doing this, so we wanted to give you guys the benefit of the doubt that you're getting a jump start on this so you don't wait too long.
And to add on to that, we looked into daycares and their wait lists probably
At least 10 months in advance.
and they had wait lists that were even a year long. So it's never too early.
One of the first things we wanted to talk about was the budget. And keep in mind with your budget that it's not just going to be about the cost of the daycare. If you don't have a child already, you're also going to need diapers, you're going to need wipes, you're going to need all kinds of other things that are going to be included into your new budget after that child's born.
Yeah, some of those things too are formula if you're not breastfeeding, which can be really expensive. Also clothing, because your baby is going to grow extremely fast, and within, a month and a half or so, a lot of things won't fit anymore.
The second thing is location. Now, initially we started looking at places near work for us, but after a while we decided to go closer to home, which ended up being a good idea. If your kid is cranky at the end of the day like our son is, you're probably not going to want to ride through traffic 30-40 minutes to get home with that kid crying in the back seat the whole time. After you've talked with neighbors and friends and you've done some research about the daycares that are near you, you're going to want to plan a surprise visit. Now, the whole idea behind a surprise visit is that you're just quickly stopping in. You want it to seem as though you don't have much time because you just want to pick up information if they have a packet or some stuff you can grab, get pricing, and most importantly, look at what's going on in the daycare when you arrive.
Yeah, what you really want to do while you're there on your surprise visit is take note of the infant classroom. A lot of times they do have, I don't know if it's a requirement, but they do have windows so you can see in, even if they won't let you go into the classroom. See how chaotic it is in there, how many babies are kind of around screaming, and how many caregivers are there. States have requirements on how many caregivers there are to the number of children. So that's something you may want to research before and see if they're adhering to that policy. I think it ranges anywhere from 4 to 6 per caregiver. We obviously recommend, after seeing how things go in daycare, as few children as possible in one room.
You're also going to want to note the security measures, so whether there's a lock on the door when you come in or how easy it is for a stranger to access the building. And also ask about what's provided. Make sure you know whether they have diapers and wipes and whether they're going to provide some of that stuff or if you need to bring it, because each school is different.
And another thing to think about is if you need full-time or part-time daycare, because a lot of daycares don't offer part-time, but some of them do, and they'll have a drop-in rate that is different from their full-time tuition. So something to consider if you have friends and family that can help out. You can save a lot of money by doing part-time.
The third thing we wanted to talk about was planning a tour. So before you leave from your surprise visit, you need to talk with them about a time when you can come back, preferably with your spouse, and do a more in-depth and thorough walkthrough of the building. So you need to be able to take a good look at the infant room. If you can come back at a time when you know your child wouldn't be asleep, that's great, because then you can see what they're doing at 11 a.m. or whatever.
When you're in the infant room, some things you may want to ask the teachers is, what is a typical day like for the infants? Take a look at what kind of equipment and things that they use, and see if you're comfortable with the way that they plan the day out. Some things that you don't really know until you have a child, or unless you've already decided ahead of time if you're going to have your child on a schedule or not. And then you want to ask the teacher how they handle those things. Do they try to stick to a nap schedule? How closely do they stick to a feeding schedule? Because for us, we decided to go the scheduling route, so those things were really important.
Another thing we decided before we left our tour was we need to ask, what's the experience level of the caregiver that's going to be in the infant room? So there are a lot of daycares where they'll have slides for the bigger kids, and they'll have video games, and they'll have a smart board and all this other stuff. But really all you're paying for, 100% of your budget is going to the person who's directly taking care of your child. So if that person's only been working there a month or less, it doesn't make sense necessarily to pay for a high-priced daycare that has computers for the older kids if your kid isn't going to be using a computer.
While you're on your tour, ask them to show you the other classrooms as well, in case this is a location that may be convenient for you long-term for your child.
Finally, just trust your gut. As a parent, that kid is going to be picking up a lot more of your habits and behaviors than anything they learn at that daycare. So, you can't be too picky and critical. You want to be able to live with it, but you also got to think, okay, most of what they're going to be learning is from you as a parent, not from that care provider.
And also, just be realistic. When you go into a daycare for the first time and you envision having your child there, you hear and see kids crying and, they may be upset, and it's hard to emotionally deal with, the reality of having to drop your kid off with someone you don't know for the first time. But put yourself in the caregiver situation. If you were taking care of 4 babies, you can't keep all of them happy at one time. So just know that it's going to be hard no matter which daycare you choose.
Alright guys, well, we hope these tips and hints were helpful. Keep these things in mind when you go looking for a daycare. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to comment below or subscribe, and we'll have some more videos coming soon.
See you guys next time.
Thanks for watching.